Trex News, news the regular Miss Media sees fit to extinguish. This week, Indian givers, pipelines, cop-outs, and a car.
I wish somebody would share the news. I wish somebody...
That was Neil Young with his song Indian Givers, published September 18th, lamenting the lack of mainstream coverage of the protest against the North Dakota oil pipeline. You know, the one that was rerouted away from the state capital Bismarck to endanger the water supply of the Standing Rock Indian Reservation. One reporter that did cover the protest at the beginning of September was Amy Goodman from Democracy Now!
To people's surprise at this moment, actually bulldozing the land. There's a helicopter above, there's security here, and hundreds of people have been marching up when they heard that the construction site is actually active right now. Sir, reporter from New York, what are you spraying people with?
I haven't sprayed anything, man.
Are you telling the dogs to bite the protesters? The dog has blood in its nose and its mouth. Why are you letting her dog go after the protesters? It's covered in blood. After the protesters said that the dog was bloody from biting them, they then pulled the dogs away, and now pickup truck by pickup truck is pulling away. We'll see what happens. The protesters are moving in to ensure that the security leaves. Let's go check on this woman. What happened?
I just a lot of mace, and the sweat was dripping it in. The sweat was making it run down into my eyes. I had my glasses on, and that spared me the brunt of it, but then the sweat started putting it in.
How are you doing?
I'm great.
What's your name?
Raina Crow.
And what do you think you've accomplished today?
I hope we've accomplished letting Enbridge know that the people of this nation and the people of this world, tribal or otherwise, have withdrawn their social license to pollute water, and that they need to find an honest, nonviolent way to make a living.
Her reward for that coverage, an arrest warrant for criminal trespass. Perhaps if other journalists had been present, the one that was wouldn't have been threatened with jail. Pop quiz question of the week. How often does a pipeline spill occur in the US? Take a look at this. The answer nearly every day. In other news, the world lurches a little closer to establishing the Paris Climate Change Agreement. You know, the one that ex-NASA climate change expert James Hansen labelled
Total fraud. You know, we're not going to reduce emissions as long as we let fossil fuels be the cheapest form of energy. Everybody would be better off if the price of fossil fuels was honest. It should include its cost to society.
BBC World News reports that the United States and China have signed up to the agreement, but fails to mention that it has less teeth than a headless chicken, and has yet to come into force.
2 turbines an hour. China's unparalleled commitment to clean energy, part of the battle against air pollution and climate change. The International Energy Agency says China installed more than 30,000 megawatts of new wind energy in 2015. A change in subsidies has reduced that, but turbines are still popping up at the rate of more than 1 every hour. It's helped give Chinese leaders the confidence to ratify the Paris Climate Change Agreement alongside President Obama. But China is climate villain as well as climate hero. It's still building so many coal-fired power stations there's too much energy on the grid, and wind farms are being turned off.
Don't expect the BBC to praise the Chinese government without damning it. No mention that per capita the US CO2 emissions are more than double that of China. Anyway, on to the car.
How do you sell the world's fastest and one of its most expensive cars at a time when people are tightening their purse strings?
Meh. Wrong question. How can anyone justify selling LPOs at all? Climate change is set to wipe out whole island nations. The migration crisis from coastal flooding will make the exodus from Syria look like a Sunday school outing. So why is the BBC advertising toys for the mega rich?
Well, the people behind Bugatti cars claim they have the answer with a new car that's just made its Asian debut in Singapore.
Now, Bugatti's parent is Volkswagen. So tell us, how has the emissions scandal affected your production?
Of course, the Volkswagen Group has looked at everything, and they also looked at us. But since we are a positive and strong business case, and we have a good and strong order bank, it did not affect us.
All right, so let's go have a look at this car. It looks quite extraordinary, very shiny. So let's pop in and have a look. I want to see what's so special about it.
BBC journalism at its finest.
I almost fainted when I found out about the price from Sharon. $2.6 million US. Goodness me, I can't afford it.
The mega rich will just have to buy a new planet, but don't expect them to take you with them. So let's end with Utah Phillips. And that's Trex News, exceedingly extinct.
They use up the oil, they use up the trees, they use up the air, and they use up the sea. Well, how about you, friend, and how about me? What's left when we're all used up?